What do you see around you?
I'm just looking around. There is the crystal moldavite, which comes to mind. This green crystal.
And where is the crystal?
Crystal wasn't made the way people said it was made. It wasn't formed the way they say it's formed.
How was it formed?
There was a conflict in this place. There was a war that I was involved in as one of these Elohim beings. And I'm just seeing a lot of mud and spaceships. They're part of battle, these ships. They're smaller ships, and they're not positive extraterrestrial ones. These are part of the battle, and we pull them down, and they crash into this mud, and they form this crystal, like the material that it's made out of is kind of like reacting with the earth when it crashes into the earth. It's very, very dirty. And this material is trapped in the mud. And that's how this crystal is formed.
And is the crystal used for anything now, or if it had a name, what would we call it?
People people say that it's a tektite. They use it for spiritual purposes, but they complain about its energy being too strong. And this is the reason why.
So how were these ships pulled down?
We just pulled them down with our minds.
And what were they what were they going to accomplish? What were they trying to do?
They were fighting on the darker side.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were part of some of the armies of Set.
And what were they going to accomplish? What did they want to accomplish?
They wouldn't give up. They just wouldn't give up. They didn't realize that time was over. They didn't realize that their leader was gone.
How long ago did that happen?
It was around 25,000 years ago.
And how is it relevant to for us today? Would you say?
Tell people the truth. I'm just going to need the conscious mind to receive a bit more. Call for the higher self just a little bit more.
So can we ask Elizabeth higher self, conscious mind to recede a little bit more, and for the higher self to come through for this session today?
Yes. It is in progress.
Beautiful, thank you.
I am just asking my guide to assist me. I'm just calling him over. Arcana is the guide of my physical form, and he is just assisting with this process so that the body does not react badly.
Of course, thank you.
Okay, you can continue with your question.
Thank you. Who are we speaking to now?
This is Lumina. This is the Elizabeth's higher self, Elohim self. My name is Lumina. So you can refer to me with this name.
Lumina, thank you. Now, are we able to ask some questions that we have out of curiosity, or did you want to tell us anything before we get started?
About the mold divide. This is not what people think. This crystal is not what people think. This crystal, it has energy of conflict, but you can use this crystal to access the memories from this time. If you were involved in this time period, you feel strongly drawn to this, you can use this crystal to activate, but it is very, very strong for some people.
How would one activate a crystal?
To activate this crystal, you simply hold on to the crystal and put your consciousness in your light and let it flow into the crystal. and then the crystal is activated to your energy. But moldavite is not really like a crystal, it's more like it is a substance. It is a substance that carries the memory of this time. That's why it's particularly important.
And what do people use it for?
Some people, they use it for a spiritual awakening that is, how would I say it? Very, very strong. It has a very, very strong energy.
Mm-hmm.
However, they do not, they believe that it has extraterrestrial energy. However, they do not know the specific details of this.
Mm-hmm.
They do not know that it has a history of conflict and there is some darkness in the memory.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is there a way that people that are using it can clear the darkness that it has in it, or they just, as long as they use it with good purpose?
If they use it with good purpose, it is completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
They can use this just as a tool to activate those memories within them from that time. That would be very useful to people if they want to, I guess, activate for themselves memories of the time that I speak of.
Mm-hmm.
And of the conflicts that the Elohim were involved in. They can use this crystal to provide a catalyst.
What was the conflict that they were involved in?
It was, okay, very long time ago when Atlantis was there. It was a continent.
Mm-hmm.
There were some scientists working on a project underground, what you would call as CERN today. This technology CERN.
Yeah.
It's been used before. And when they used it the first time, they know how to do it the first time. They know how to do it properly to get the effects that they want. They were stopped in this time frame. However, back then, it did create a portal. And there was a breach between another universe and this universe. And fallen angels came out of this portal.
And how did they affect humanity?
When they came out of this portal, they intermingled with the Atlantean people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Set came from. And when I talk about Set, this being is also the same being that you would know as Satan.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same being. So this being was a fallen cherubim, and it came out of the portal along with others of this nature. And this was an emergency, and it was hidden from us. And when they came out of the portal, they began to, well, cause havoc on this earth.
In what way?
First, they appeared as ordinary people in Atlantis, so they could blend in with the people there, and they made their way to, I guess, the secret societies that were there at the time, the Dark Brotherhood. They intermingled with this society. So when Atlantis collapsed, they actually escaped elsewhere. they did have something to do with its downfall.
What did they do for it to? What was that?
They introduced very well, there was already darkness in this place, but they made it worse. They introduced more war, more colonization of other lands, more division, and also they encouraged activities like cannibalism. So it really went downhill from there. This was where what is known as the darker cult, this was where this started.
So when they escaped, where did they go? Did they scatter when Atlantis fell? You said that they scattered.
I see them going into spaceship type of vehicles, and they go elsewhere, different places in the Middle East, and they set up there. They set up not far from Egypt.
What was the point of them being close to Egypt? Did that have a purpose?
Yes, well, the main civilization point was in Egypt as well. This was the main Atlantean outpost. So when the continent fell, a lot of the survivors went to this place. And they were, I guess, lurking and waiting for an opportunity to strike.
And did they accomplish that?
Yes, they infiltrated the structure there. They infiltrated and went under the Elohim's noses, the Elohim that were already there, were already set up. They were very sneaky. Isis and Osiris, for example, they were Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
And they caused much trouble for these beings.
In what way?
Okay, so actually, you know the myth of Set, and he kills Osiris. He murders him. This actually happened, but he wasn't fully killed. It's very hard to kill an Elohim. So Osiris was resurrected, but this was very, very bad.
How was he resurrected?
So Isis and some other beings, they came together and I am viewing him, he is like he's Set used a weapon on him that he knew would blow apart his energy form. And this weapon can destroy light beings. So he used the weapon on him. And then the other beings, Isis and whatnot, they rushed and they put him back together after this took place. This weapon has been long since destroyed.
So we can't access that sort of weaponry
no, no, no. When we returned, we destroyed this weapon. We made sure it was destroyed before we came and took care of him. So after this happened, Isis and the others, they panicked, and Egypt was fallen to him, said, and he was doing his own thing. Let's just say he was creating lots of trouble for the people. So he took over this place. There was attempts to take it back. There was many attempts. However, this failed because he had gathered many forces here. And so this failed by the light beings. And so this is when we were called, when the Isis and Osiris and all of the light extraterrestrials and beings, they were, I guess, ostracized out of Egypt. How do I say? Banished. And that's when they called us. And we had to, many of us had to come because this was an emergency.
And how did you fix the issue? How did you? Just by removing?
Well, we had to fix the issue from outside of Egypt. So many of us had to come. There was me, Apollo, many of my brothers and sisters. That is known as the Greek gods, I guess you would say. And in other places, they are known as other things, depending on the location in the world. However, we came and we had to formulate a plan, and we had to use the humans that were not used. That's a wrong word. We had to rally some support from the people as well, because the people had been living under tyranny of this being Set. He had been doing very bad things to them, making their lives very miserable, killing them for fun, for amusement. So it was actually very easy to get the humans to assist us with this process of, we make an army, we invite him to battle with us. But first of all, we were doing plans very secret, and then there was an invitation to him, a challenge, and he could not resist the challenge. But he did not anticipate that many Elohim would show up to this battle, and his weapon was destroyed. So he had no way of disintegrating or attempting to kill an Elohim again.
Yes, thank you for that. Just out of curiosity, before we continue, just wanted to do a body scan on Elizabeth's body and see how the body's going.
The body is going fine. There's just she has eaten some pizza for lunch, and it's just digesting very slowly. That is the only issue.
Okay.
It's just the compatibility with the food and the body.
Okay. Well, we ask that it processes fine in the body. Now, just out of curiosity, which dimension do you reside in?
The 12 and above.
Hmm.
But we come down to all of we work in all of the different dimensions actually.
So from the 12th down, how many dimensions are there out of curiosity?
Mm,
The infinite?
now, I am not allowed to talk about dimensions beyond the 12.
Oh, okay.
It is not ready yet for humanity to know.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. From your perspective as subconscious, in terms of Lumina, in terms of the shift, what does that mean? Shifting to the fifth dimension. Are you allowed to talk about that? Or
Oh, yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. This is fine. This is fine. Yes, yes, yes. This is the process that is happening right now.
Mhm.
We are shifting from the third, fourth to the fifth.
Mhm.
And what that will look like, in case people don't know, is the colors will get more bright and vibrant. And you may see even more colors. And you may have a very advanced, I guess, awareness of all that is, more of a connection with life itself.
Mhm.
Your mind will be opened to new possibilities of beingness.
Now, from your perspective, would you say that the shift to the fifth dimension will be a physical one, or can we access it now in our 3D bodies?
You can have a physical body, but be higher dimensional. This is what, when I came to the earth last time, I was higher dimensional, but in order to interact with humans, I still had to manifest a physical body using my consciousness. So it was just a lighter kind of form. And in this lighter form, it wasn't so dense, but it was still a physical form. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So can we take our bodies to the fifth dimension, would you say? Or is it just a
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
You can still have bodies and be fifth dimensional. That's no problem because I did the same thing. I had a physical form, but my consciousness obviously was much higher than that. But I manifested my physical form using my consciousness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it was still physical, so people of that time, they were not so dense, so they could reach out and touch me, and it was fine. They could feel my skin, for example, and it feels like normal. So yes, you can still have a body and be physical. Once you move into the seventh dimension, that is when the body becomes transparent, if you would say. Not I guess you cannot see it with the eyes, but that doesn't mean that it's not there anymore. You get what I mean?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So would you say that we could use take our 3D carbon based bodies to the fifth dimension?
Or they won't be carbon anymore. If you are in this process, then they are changing.
And how would that look?
Evolving using the light. So when the light from the sun is programmed to blue at the moment, and this blue light, it is changing the cells of the body and programming cells to respond, to evolve in a certain way. to
Mhm.
switch, to become a different substance, like alchemy, transformation.
Beautiful, thank you. So that helping us to evolve to the fifth.
Yes, yes, yes. The sun is very, very important. The light is very, very important.
So what's going to happen to our 3D carbon-based bodies if we can't take it to the fifth dimension?
Okay, so do you know, I guess, the story of evolution? Okay, so for example, at the beginning of the earth, there was some pools of water that existed everywhere with fish in them.
Mhm.
And back in that time, we used the light of the sun glowing red to tell the fish to start to make the change. And so they begin to grow legs and walk out of the water. And then some of them didn't respond to the change. They didn't respond to the life codes. So these fish that did not respond, they just died when the pools dried up. The earth became more dry in this time.
Mhm.
So those fish that did not make that shift to grow the legs, they died.
Okay.
But this was just part of the evolution cycle.
Mhm. So that's the same thing that's going to happen to us. Is that what you're saying? We're going to evolve. If we're evolving to a 5D planet, then our physical form, our carbon-based bodies will have to die.
Well, it makes a choice.
Mhm.
It's a choice. The soul always makes a choice. It's always free. If they do not want to continue in
Mhm.
this new reality, then they can make a choice. And unfortunately, the choice for them, others may not understand it, but they do not want to go into this reality. So
Mhm.
yes, they will die.
Okay. And what happens when they leave the physical form, the 3D carbon-based bodies? Do they go to other planets, or do they go to?
Yes, they will be reincarnated into a place that they have agreed to do.
Mhm.
When they leave the form behind, they will go to another place that is suitable for their evolution if they want to continue in more a slow way. This is the soul's choice.
Mhm. Now, can you tell me from your perspective, Lumina, about the life contract for this planet, the soul of this planet, in terms of shifting to the fifth dimension? What can you tell us about the soul of the planet's contract?
Okay, so she's very, very patient
Mhm.
and has been very, I guess, tired for a long time. And she actually called out to us. She called out to the Elohim. She called out to God. And she said, please help me. Please, I cannot do this anymore. Because I guess she was becoming like she wanted to die.
Mhm.
I guess you would say that she was becoming like a depressed, suicidal planet. She wanted to, she thought that it would be best to pass away at some point because she was so upset with what was happening to her,
Mhm.
which is fair enough. She has suffered so much abuse. So she called out to us to help, and she called out to God. And when she called out, all of the other beings, the galactics, they responded. They responded to this call. So this is where all the star seeds are coming from as well. They responded to this call and to the calls of the suffering. So she is going to the fifth dimension now, and she is in a much better place than she was before. She has a plan moving forward. She has a plan. She does not want to die anymore.
Mhm.
So she is in a very good place, actually.
So she is now in the fifth dimension.
Yes, she's pulling herself up day by day.
Mhm.
They're being very, very patient with humans, very patient. But it's like her spirits are lifted because she has a plan. She has a plan now of how to get there, and lots of support.
Mhm.
Mm.
In your the way you see it, what do you think the old earth is referring to?
Mm. The old earth will not exist as you know it. The old earth is more like a concept. It is a concept that is slowly becoming extinct until it would no longer be available or possible. The old earth is only something that she, the spirit of the earth, is keeping just because she is very kindly to people. Okay, she's just keeping it like a waiting room.
Yep.
Until those souls can go where they need to go. And then she will just phase this out.
So what's going to happen in our experience once she totally pulls herself out?
This will happen. There is a transition point. And then around before 2030 is when this is when we are predicting she will let go of this point. But it will look like, okay, some earth shifts, moving her body a little here and there, but we are making it so that this is not catastrophic. There are lots of beings that are assisting. She is getting a lot of help. But also some people who, if you look around in your community, there will be this one and that one who is getting sick, and then they are, unfortunately, some of them are dying and whatnot. Everyone will know somebody who is passing away or getting sick. Unfortunately, this is part of the process, and they have chosen to leave.
Could it be said that this is a transition?
Yes, it's a transition. It cannot happen overnight. Still, it is happening very quickly in terms of time.
Yeah.
Compared to my experience of time is happening very, very quickly.
So in your experience of time, how do you see it? Do you see it as every minute or every hour, or?
I don't know how to explain it. It's like I am very, very, very old, so I lose track of the time, and it's like, yeah, it's like I don't have any. Once you are very, very old, it's hard to have a concept. It's hard to relate to the time here. Sometimes I have problem in my life because I forget the time, and yes, I didn't have a good time with learning that time when I was in a physical body here. I
Mhm.
could not read a clock, for example. I found it very difficult. Maybe this is why they diagnosed Elizabeth as having Asperger, because she did not compute with the concepts, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, of
Yep.
this dimension.
Mhm. Fair enough. Now, we hear many people talking about the new Earth being here on this planet. What can you tell us about that?
Oh, well, you can already see the light is different. If you look outside and if you look at the sun, you can notice some small changes here and there. If you
Mhm.
have eyes to see, you can notice the sunlight is different. I know people are noticing this already, that the sunlight has changed. And also there was a comet, a green comet at the beginning of February.
Mhm.
And this was the changeover. This was like the signal that it's here, the very important signal, this one.
So the comet suggested that we're ready to shift.
The comet is like a turning point, like it's telling humanity, it's like a reminder
Mhm.
that the time of darkness is over. It's over. But also the green of the comet, it opens up the heart. And this is to do with grief. So if you are having, there will be more awakenings of this. So people who are, I guess, sleeping, they might have some grief, and this will open the heart. And this is also to do with this comet.
So the people that dying off at the moment, they just decided to go into a different consciousness, or they've decided to evolve out of the 3D planet.
Yeah, they have decided to evolve at a slower pace. This is their soul's choice.
Mhm.
Okay? Because they have their soul, their higher self has been told, okay, this is happening to the earth. You can make a choice or you can leave. And they decide, actually, I don't want to stay here. I would prefer to do my own way. So they just leave.
So the people that are left here and have decided to stay to see the end of the old Earth, what would they be experiencing?
Lots of change, lots of heart opening situations
Mhm.
through grief or other things. Their hearts will become open and be challenged. Sometimes the situations will be challenging, but you need to look forward and don't look back at the old world as it is collapsing. They will try to say this and that on the media and whatnot, but if you are strong within your heart, this
Mhm.
will not affect you. You can go without all of the clown show that goes on,
Mhm.
because the dark ones, they are scared because they have no protection and they are being caught every single day.
How are they being caught?
So we catch them in the spiritual sense. We are catching them. But the ones who are in human bodies, the humans will have to deal with these ones. We cannot interfere and catch them. Okay. Humans will have to deal with the ones in the human bodies who have done all of these horrible things and whatnot, and try to do genocide on the people and whatnot. Humans will have to deal with these. It would interfere if we were to catch these people. However, we can catch beings that are very, very dark in the astral realm that would be typically talking to these people. These people, I guess, the dark people are worshipping these beings, and we caught the beings that they were worshipping.
So when you catch these beings, you take them back to where? To their own planet, or?
And we had certain places on Earth that we were using as jails, I guess, higher dimensional prisons. There's one in Australia, actually, that is very, very big. And I was involved in the creation of this one. This one is at Singleton, Singleton, New South Wales. So we take the beings to this kind of place, like in Australia, we had to have big ones because there was lots of problems here. We have like a Guantanamo Bay, but for interdimensional beings in here, and we just take the beings here for a whole point until other beings, the other angels tell us, okay, we are going to start the trial for this one, or we are working with each other it's like an operation. So some of the beings, they have trials, and some of the beings, they are just sent back to source. It just depends on the situation. Really depends.
So the changes that we're seeing right now in the world, like the one that happened in New Zealand, is that part of the plan to move, to shift a different, to shift out of this world, shift out of Earth?
What happened in New Zealand? Please explain to me.
I think there was a cyclone, Cyclone Gabrielle.
Oh, I didn't. Some of these are geoengineering. Unfortunately, is from the dark side sometimes. But sometimes is from geoengineering from what you would call the white hats. And they are doing this to confuse each other. So it's unfortunate that people are just caught up in between the middle of this, like a sandwich. But sometimes there is earth changes that are natural, and sometimes these earth changes that are natural are, I guess you would say that they are intensified by dark forces, and sometimes they are intensified for light forces to collapse underground structures, if that makes sense.
And the white hats that you mentioned, who are they?
They are certain secret societies that do not like the Satanists, and they some of them are secret societies that are anti this dark occult, and some of them are, well, I guess there are quite a few different groups involved with this. It is hard to explain who they are exactly, because they are, I guess, a ragtag team of ones that are just tired of these people who, for lack of a better term, they do disgusting things to children, little people, you know. They were very, very tired of this because the other side is working like a mafia.
Okay. Now when you mentioned that the some things are man-made, like say a cyclone, how would men be able to do that?
They have this machine that they use to direct the clouds. Okay, you can research about this stuff. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Now, why have the Elohim returned to Earth as starseeds this time around?
Okay, this is important because we foreseen that this would occur very long ago, that we would have to go into human bodies. We foresaw this when we came last time, which was 25,000 years ago. We foresaw this, that we would need to be in bodies. So we actually interbred with the people to create forms that we could use to have, I guess, our DNA that would be compatible. Because it's very difficult into the body for this energy. And that's why the conscious mind has to recede so much, because it's very difficult for the human body to contain these energies. Okay, so the Elohim, they foresaw this, and so they came into human bodies at this time. And while they are on Earth, they are acting as anchor points, helping everything else. There's only around 50 people, 50 Elohim on the Earth at the moment. So it's a small number, I guess. But they're acting as anchor points for our energy, because we are beaming our light, and the light goes from our bigger bodies. But when we anchor through the physical body, this is very, very important. This is changing the consciousness of the world. It's creating new opportunities for humanity.
In what way?
When we are anchoring our energy into the physical. So when our light goes out in the physical, and everything that we do, and every person that we touch with our information is getting big downloads. Sometimes when I have been talking to people, they are getting downloads and getting some headaches afterwards. This is part of the process. So when I'm interacting with some people, sometimes they complain of some headaches afterwards, but this is normal. This is the brain. It is the light is going in and changing it so that you will start to know more. It's like a process that is unfolding. when our energies, the Elohim's energies, come out. And also I needed to be close to the ground to catch these beings. I have many roles actually. It's not just beaming. I am programming the light of the sun. I'm helping to program and facilitate this process. And I'm helping to catch the beings that are causing problems. For example, I caught one of the Baphomets, and I caught other beings that were causing problems. So when they are removed, the earth feels much better, and we can go forth with this process much more easily. And so what else was I doing? Many things. I'm having many meetings. I helped to see the light in some very, very dark places on earth, and spying and finding out what the dark ones are doing next, and blah blah blah, whatnot. There's just so much stuff that I'm doing. I helped to collapse. Before I helped to collapse some of the tunnels using the fire element. The tunnels underground, I burnt them up and helped to collapse them.
Yep.
Elohim, they assist in many different ways to facilitate this process, to make it as smooth as possible.
What are the various ways that Elohim are facilitating the ascension process?
So there are the ways that I mentioned, but we had some battles around 2016, 2018, and we got rid of Seth for good this time. We got rid of him, and that was a big battle. So many of my brothers and sisters were involved in this one, and we got rid of him this time. So he is not going to bother anyone anymore. So if you see somebody on social media saying, "Oh, Satan is doing this and that," he's gone. Actually, he is gone. So if you have a being going around pretending to be his fallen angel, that's an imposter. That's an imposter. The real one has been removed. Thank goodness.
And what was his does he have a purpose as to what he was doing? What was his life contract?
I don't know. He went off his life contract a very, very long time ago, this being. He was just doing whatever he wanted, basically.
Oh, I see.
He was not giving any shits about anything. Like, this being was participating in some really, really disgusting things. So no way he was listening to his soul contract or anything. If he had light inside him, it was very, 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 very tiny.
I see. So the last time the Elohim came, they were helping humanity by doing what? What were the different ways in which the Elohim helped humanity the last time they came?
Okay, so they were very, very traumatized after the catastrophes happened the first time. So there was some danger that they would go backwards in their evolution, which actually they did. But it was not so bad because we helped them grow their brains and make sure their brains don't shrink. Okay. And we clean up the demonic armies and forces that were, I guess, disturbing life for them. We cleaned them up back then, but they came back, unfortunately. We cleaned up some ones, but yes, because it's like Earth is a shit magnet, unfortunately.
Why is that? Is it because we got free will, or?
Yes, that's part of the reason, but the Earth was intended to be such a high and beautiful place, like a paradise. It's the original paradise codes of the Earth. And the angel is very, very much like this place. This was around maybe 1 to 2 million years ago. It was very, very beautiful, the Earth. Of course, if something is very, very bright and beautiful, sometimes it's a little bit like a sheet magnet. So yes, the beauty of the Earth unfortunately attracted some unwanted influences. It just happened that way, unfortunately.
Okay. Why did the Elohim leave, and what happened to humans after they left?
We couldn't interfere too much anymore. Okay, like we had already, well, we interfered, but we had to. So if we stayed for any longer, we would be interfering too much with their process, their progress. But they didn't understand. They were scared at first when we came, but when we left, they were so sad. Why are you leaving? Why are you going? This kind of thing. But they did not understand. They did not understand that, well, we can't stay around forever. We have things to do, and we can't interfere. Or we can't interfere forever. We had to do it at that particular point because it was an emergency, but we don't want to do any more than what we need to do. If that makes sense.
It does, thank you. Why were people building statues and temples of the Elohim and worshipping Elohim after they left?
They missed us. They wanted us to come back. Some people really wanted us to come back. And they thought they begin to make some stuff to, I guess, to get our attention, to make us, I guess, come back. We came back in spirit form for some people to help them with a particular thing. But we didn't come back because it was not appropriate for us to do so. But they very missed us because we were very kindly to them. Of course, there was ones who were very scared of us and didn't like us, but there were some people who really liked us. There are some people who were very scared of me. And yes, and sometimes I got a bad reputation for myself because I got scared and killed some people one time when they tried to jump on me, sexually assault me.
Why have they come back this time? What's the meaning of this time? The Elohim are here now.
It's because it's the end of the cycle, and we prepared for this time. We inserted we inserted our, I guess, DNA into certain families. I guess this is where the myth of the demigods comes from. So we interbred with the people to contain our bodies in the future. To be a good vessel, a good fit for our DNA when we return. So we knew we are aware of the cycles. We are aware of the grand cycles of life. And so we came back when we knew the cycles is coming to a close. And I was born in the 90s because it was time. It was time for me to facilitate this change. So I came in not a second too late, not a second too early.
Yeah. And how are you assisting?
I did many things. Well,
Lots of things, yeah. But in the human body, how
in the human body. Okay.
Elizabeth's vehicle?
Well, in the human body, I guess I inspire people to be themselves, to be the best self that they can be, to not listen if someone is telling you this or that. Don't listen. You listen to your heart, because I listen to my heart in my life. And I don't listen if someone tell me I need to do this or that, or otherwise I'm a bad person. I don't listen to them. So I dress the way I like. I do things the way I like. And because of my freedom, it's changing. I guess it changes the way people think about things, like, oh, she can just do that and she doesn't care about people's opinion. Okay, maybe I should try to do that. This kind of thing. Inspire people to be themselves, to be their higher self. This is the purpose, but also I am doing healing now, the quantum healing as well. I'm helping people with doing this to connect with their higher selves. This is very important. Connect to the highest, most evolved point of yourself. And in this part, it's through knowing the self, you will find all the answers.
Absolutely. After most of the Elohim left, why was Elohim Yahweh continuing to assist the earth?
No, he loves this place very, very much, Yahweh. He couldn't just leave it completely. He had to assist and help. He was helping so much. He couldn't just stand there and watch while humanity slid backwards. He has so much love for humanity. This is what people need to know. And it's okay that I say this for him, because he is near me now. It's okay for me to say this.
So he, Yahweh, what are his other names that we might know him as?
Okay, so this might be shocking for some people, but it might make perfect sense for other people. So his other name is actually Jesus. It's Jesus because when he was in a body, for example, there was a special body made for him. And this was when Jesus came in. So Yahweh put a part of his soul and then put it into this body. And that body became Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And he sacrificed himself so that people can wake up and see. People can wake up and see. Because he was so compassionate and kind, very kindly to people. And then they just killed him. So this was a wake-up call. It was for people to look at themselves like a mirror and say, really, you want to be this? You want to murder this being who is very kindly to you? It's very compassionate and healing and want to help everybody. You really want to kill a being like this?
Was that part of his life's purpose?
Yes. This was known before he came. He knew he was going to be killed in this way. And he agreed to it because he just loved people so much. It was like, okay, well, if I have to do it, that's what I have to do. And his message is to get people to forgive themselves for all of, and to love themselves as they are deep within.
Now, what so after most of the Elohim left, what was Elohim Yahweh continuing to assist the earth? So because he loved us, he said, and he couldn't leave.
Not like the other Elohim didn't love the earth. That's not the case. But Yahweh, he was just very, very, very proactive with these people. Well, maybe they can be, maybe their minds can be changed just a little. You know, maybe I can help them a little bit more. And we were like, oh, well, personally, me, I did not want to come back because I was a female and they would do all sorts of things to me if my energy came back. So I didn't come back until now because it would be very, very traumatic for me. They would do much worse things to me. So I did not return back. But some Elohim have been reincarnating as well to assist, mostly the male ones, because the females, it was or the more feminine ones, I should say, because we are energy of both. But the more feminine ones, they did not feel welcome or respected at all. So mostly it has been the masculine Elohims that have kept coming back. So Hercules is one of these ones. So he has been reincarnating again and again just to help people and to assist, because he is like Yahweh. He cares very much about the people. So there is some that have come back, but not in such a big way as Yahweh. I think Hercules was just more quiet about his lifetime, what he was doing. He was more in the background working, you know.
Yeah. What would you say when people, there's some religious groups that are saying Yahweh is going to come back and kill the people that haven't followed his ways?
This is very, very silly. Very, very silly, because Yahweh would not do this. He would not do this because he is very loving. And if he was doing this, he would not be at his evolutional level. Okay, he would not be very evolved. If this I think these people, they get the wrong idea because there's many imposter beings.
Mm-hmm.
And these imposter beings are just causing trouble. They may be lower negative beings or whatnot, or tricksters, and they are telling people this and that they are pretending to be Yahweh. They are pretending to be him. He has had some problems with imposters making stories about him, saying that he will do this and that. And these other beings are causing trouble, and humans don't know the difference. They don't know the difference. But if you feel inside your heart, is this true that Yahweh is very loving? Would he really say something like that? No, he wouldn't.
I know there's people that are waiting for his second coming, and I think they're very panicked that he's going to come and, they might not be taken.
Well, I think they will be disappointed if they are waiting for other people to be killed or something. I think they will be disappointed. I don't know.
Thank you for that. Now another question is, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Sodom and Gomorrah. Why did Yahweh get angry with these places?
Yes, Yahweh, there was some problems, very, very big problems in these places. So they were sacrificing little ones. Just their behavior was very, very bad in these places. There was much darkness. There was too much. So it was causing instability in the fabric of reality. Okay. So these places, excuse my language, but they were shitholes. This place is terrible, actually. So he is getting very tired, and because with the fabric of reality, okay, so I'm viewing that they were attempting to make portals, and it was, using sacrifices and making portals and all kind of black magic and this kind of thing. So this was causing instability in the fabric of reality. So this is a problem for the Elohim. This is a big problem. And so he was like, oh no, this is not happening. We are not doing this. This is so bad. So actually at this point, he sent some angelic beings to these places to tell the people to cease with this type of thing, this black magic, and because, we are protectors of reality. They don't know how bad it is if, I guess, the portals, and this is, I can't talk too much about this, but because it is, some things are secret about this, or the human consciousness cannot know too much yet about this. But when there is, I guess, too much reality pulling in one way, other universes are affected, and this makes everyone very unhappy. So this type of thing was happening. So he sent angels down to tell them to, okay, you are affecting other universes. This is not good. Please stop. And he sends many warnings, many warnings down. But they did not heed his advice. Instead, they wanted to rape angels. He wanted to do horrible things to them to make, their black magic plans even worse, I guess. That's all I'm going to say about that. They wanted to interfere with angels. So he sent many messengers down to help. And then, yes, it was just terrible. So one day, and they didn't heed this warning, okay? The people in this place, they were heavily involved in the dark occult, and they did not heed his warning. They did not listen at all. They just they almost laughed at these angels. It was almost like an insult. Okay, they were like, we are going to just rape your angels. How do you feel about that? And so he got very, very upset because he sent many warnings. He sent many angels to help them to assist to stop doing this. And so it was decided, okay, they will not listen. Reality is glitching. There is problem with the multiverse, and the okay was given. We had a conversation. The 7 Elohims had a conversation with each other what to do about this, because it's like a council of Elohim, and so it's the 7 twin flames, a masculine and a feminine. And actually, I am on this council, so we were talking with Yahweh. What are we going to do? And the decision was just decided. Now we all agreed on this, that these towns, for the safety of the multiverse, these 2 towns would have to be demolished. So he came in, and this upset him greatly to have to do this. So it's not like he wanted to do this very much, but it was like he had no choice. So he came in, and he just, there was a tar pit around this place, and so it was very reactive to the forces, and he used his light energy and completely demolished it. It was like a bomb went off. Okay, it was like a lightning bolt or bomb went off, and it sunk into the earth, and it became what is known as the Dead Sea today.
I see.
Yes.
Thank you for that. What is the Ark of the Covenant, and what purpose was it used for?
Okay, so Yahweh helped to make these so that he can talk to people without any imposters, okay? So without any interference, he can channel some of his energy and his messages through here, because he realized he was having a problem with imposters. So he made this thing that people can connect with the Elohim through this device without any imposters coming through. So he had groups of people that needed to hear this information from the Elohim. So the Essenes and Hebrews and whatnot. So this was a gift given to humanity, more than one. There was more than one, so that they can talk to the Elohim without any interference and receive healing from the Elohim. So if you talk to this box, if you talk to this box and you say, okay, well, my son, he is very, very sick. Can we give a healing to him? And the box will respond, okay. And Elohim, they channel their energy into the box. And if the boy's soul or something is, if his free will is agreeing to do this, then he can receive the healing, for example, become well. However, they forgot how to use this. They forgot, I'm seeing they forgot, and they just use it as they just use it to like a worship kind of thing, a worship idol thing. They were just worshiping it. Oh, this was so silly. But it was meant to help people, but they forgot how to use it. Oh, I see. This is no good.
Is it, why are we programmed to worship things? Is that something in our DNA, or?
This is a pattern from when we came originally. The dark ones, they were getting, I guess they were getting their socks off on people worshipping them, these beings that came out of the portal to begin with. They liked to be told, oh, said, you are so strong and great, and I will give you 50 women from my tribe. And he's like, oh, I am the best. This kind of thing. Humans were under the control of these beings. So there was a program there that was inserted within humanity. A program that started with worshipping things. Because otherwise, there's this fear in the collective consciousness of humanity. Okay, if we don't do what this being is saying, he will kill my family, he will kill my community. Because this is what happened the first time. This is what these darker beings said, Moloch, various things. This is what they did the first time, okay? They actually went and killed the families of these beings, these humans that did not bow down to them. So yeah, there is a fear in the collective consciousness. If you disobey these beings, they will kill you, for example. And then when we came, they were scared of us because they thought we were going to do the same thing. It's very, very hard to convince them because some of us had mistakes with humans and accidentally killed them or something, or in a panic. So they took this the wrong way, as they would. This is understandable. Yeah, so this has continued, sadly. And I guess the time with Yahweh, this was very confusing to people because this fear in the consciousness of humanity was stirred up.
Now, you said that we are in phase 2 of the awakening. What is going to happen in phase 2?
Okay, so we are having a quickening of the awakening process. Okay, so you will start to notice that things are becoming rather different, okay, in your community. Okay, just if you look around in your life, don't look on the TV because you won't get the information there. Or on social media, there is so much bullshit. So you won't hear the truth from these places. But if you go out into your local community, there will be people having stories about this and that. And they will be saying, oh, well, our Uncle Bob, he got the injection and now he's really, really sick. What has happened to him? And then Auntie, Joe, she gets this one and she's really sick. And so they are beginning to question some things more and more. But also the people who are dying are prompting people to ask more and more questions. And this will accelerate more and more. And you will be hearing much news in the future. So about various things. Okay, this will all come out. So this process of unveiling, let's just say, unveiling the depths of the darkness. So we are on to phase 2 of this. So I believe this phase will go for a shorter time depending on the consciousness of humanity, what they choose.
And is this when things are going to start collapsing, like financial systems, education? And
the financial system has already collapsed, but this has been kept a secret. There are forces that want to make this transition as smooth as possible. So there is not social unrest, let's just say. So you have a lot of help. However, things will start to look more uncomfortable for many people. And this could be in the outer world, definitely in the outer world, but also in the inner world of people. Their own lives that you do not know about will begin to change. So like their personal lives.
Yeah, what's go on, sorry.
Yeah, the stuff that you don't hear about on the news is people's personal lives. So when they have an awakening in their personal life, often you do not hear about these. This will be happening more and
more. What was the purpose of some people getting the vaccine and some people not getting the vaccine?
Okay, so some people choose this as a method to exit the planet. It was actually quite genius for them to choose to do so from a soul level, because they can awaken the people around them and open the hearts of their family members. See, they love them so much that they would sacrifice themselves, essentially, to let the people around them know, to open their heart and to let the light flow in. Let the light flow into their heart once their heart is open from the process of grief. And then their family, the family members around these people will begin to change. And this was, so they chose the exit point, but they also gave an opportunity for everyone else around them. So this shouldn't be seen as, well, they were so stupid. Actually, their soul knows so much.
How can people reprogram their DNA if it has been damaged by medical products and other things?
Okay, so you can use the light of the sun And, and the light in this universe, whether it's God's light, and the Elohim are just like, act like the hand of God and just use God's light in different ways. But everybody can use God's light to program, okay, to program their own DNA, okay? So you can use the light from the sun, and you can tell the sun that you want to change your DNA, you want to make it whole and brilliant again and aligned with the highest form of who you are. You want to change the DNA of the body to like a factory reset on the phone. And you do a factory reset. So the light can reprogram this and reset your body. So if you communicate with the sun's light, you can ask it to heal you, to heal your DNA. And just be open to it. Be open to this transformation. It may be difficult and it may take a long time, and you may have to change your diet, and you will definitely have to, I guess, acknowledge that you didn't listen to your soul to begin with. Okay, you didn't listen to your inner knowing. So you need to learn this lesson first, and then you need to begin to make it better. Okay, to learn from it, and then you may have to change your diet. You may have to change your lifestyle to let the light come in and change your DNA, change your cells. But if you stick to it, it should work. Okay.
Yeah. How can the humans best prepare for the ascension process?
Okay. So the light is also very important for this, because the light is programming your DNA to change, your bodies to change, and to transform into 5-dimensional beings of the 5th dimension. So the light is actually like the programming for these. The light from the sun, but also God's light and all of the sources of light that you can think of. Even your own light within yourself, especially your own light. The light within you is like a tiny sun, and it reacts to the sun side. So the inner sun and the outer sun. So once you focus on this sun, both suns, you need to focus on this and bring this into cohesion. So a practice that is very, very good is you breathe in the sun's light. You imagine the sun, the sun's light, and breathe in through your heart and then out in the pattern of an infinity shape. And so you visualize the sunlight breathing into your body, all the light going through all of the places in your body. Visualize the light going through the veins, going through the head, going through the tendons, going through all of these places. This is a good practice for people also getting lots of water and preparing the body, like with gentle exercise and walks, and don't eat food that is full of colors and McDonald's, stuff like this, to prepare the body for being more light and fluffy, which is a 5th-dimensional way. Of course, if you are eating McDonald's, I don't think your body will be prepared so much. be McDonald's and alcohol and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's best to stay away from alcohol or these kind of things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
What's go on?
oh, and when you eat your food, to make it
Mm-hmm.
better, you can visualize the light, a beam of light going into the food, going into the drink. And I have been practicing this one for myself. I taught my lower self, Elizabeth, I taught her how to do it, to prepare the body, to visualize the light, a beam of light going into the food, into the
Mm-hmm.
molecule, and changing the food and changing the water.
Thank you for that. How is the cleanup of Earth going right now? What has been accomplished so far?
Okay, so it's going very well actually. Um, we are catching imposters at the moment, many imposter beings, and some just like a smaller, I guess, dark beings, you know, dark, what you call demonic beings. We are catching, I guess, the leftovers, you know,
Mm-hmm.
these type of things. So actually it's going really, really good. However, the on the physical side, I guess the humans are still cleaning up. They are still cleaning up the dark physical forces. But in the, I guess, the spiritual, or the ones that many people can't see, these are all, yeah, this is mostly cleaned up actually.
That's good to hear.
Mhm.
Um, Now, how's Elizabeth's body going for the moment? She.
Yes, good, it's good. I'm just a little bit itchy, but that's okay. Sorry, my arms are waving around because I was a little bit itchy.
That's okay. Lumina, thank you for all the information you've provided for us today. Is there anything else that you would like, another message for humanity that you have at this point? Or
I want people to know that they are very, very loved by everyone, or all of the Elohim. And some people say that Elohims are no good, but I just want people to know that Elohims love them very much. I guess, you know, there is some information out there about some scary things, or these beings are scary, or those beings are scary. Just follow what is going on in your heart. Just feel into it. How do you feel? And if you feel the love, then you can reach out to us and we can help you. We can help. We love to help.
and in your perspective, would you say the Earth is more denser now or less denser?
Much, much less than when I was born. I didn't like it at all when I was born. I just it was a very, very shock to my body and my system when I was born. So I only had a very, very tiny part of myself in the body, and no more, because it felt too shocking to me.
Hmm.
Mm.
So now, are you able to be in the body much more?
Yes, it is more comfortable, however, because I am such a high vibrational, powerful being. Sometimes there is still problems, but that is why Arcana, my guide for my physical body, that's why he is here. If the energy heats up too much within me, he come over, he adjusts me, so I can keep talking and whatnot.
I see. Well, that's very insightful. Do you have any messages for me or Elizabeth, or are we complete for this session?
Um, I need to just remember love, and Yahweh wants everyone to remember to forgive themselves, and especially, he wanted me to tell this message when everything comes out that the dark ones have done. Okay, it will be very, very hard to listen to this, but the challenge is, I guess, to even forgive them for what they have done, because if you do not forgive, it keeps you trapped in the lower dimensions. It keeps humanity chasing its tail. Forgiveness is freedom. Okay, so when this stuff comes out, and it will, people are going to be very, very angry. Let them be angry, but eventually you can choose to forgive. And this will be beneficial for you to forgive these beings, because we see time as very, very different. So a being who is evil now may be like in the future of this universe, they may become very, very bright and very beautiful in their light. So over a long span of time, these beings that are very, very evil, they can become very, very good. So when we are talking about time spans such as these, such as the beginning, like millions and millions of years I'm talking about. Yeah, billions of years. So when we are talking about time spans such as these, you can see the progression of this person's soul. So wouldn't it make sense just to forgive them from a high perspective, because they can become very bright and beautiful in the future and return to light. Okay, so it releases you from captivity, but it also, to forgive them, it also releases them. It's the most beneficial thing that you can do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.